Okay. Hey guys, so this is going to be my first attempt at a podcast, I think. Might just go up on YouTube as a video. I might try and take the audio and put it up separately on Spotify or something like that if it sounds good. But this is just going to be me off the cuff talking. So if you're expecting something else, I guess now is a good time to navigate away. Okay, for anyone that's still here, it is a Sunday night at 9 o'clock and I'm going to talk about the lockdown and our program that we're going to do for the next month and the open. And let's just see how much mileage I can get out of that. So the lockdown at the moment, the numbers are absolutely crazy. So things are definitely aren't going to change in a hurry. We'll be lucky to get out of this in a month. It's at the forefront of everyone's mind that it's going to take like 2 months for things to calm down. But like numbers are so weird because there's numbers that are coming in from weeks ago which are not actually accurate of what's happening today, for example. So apparently 3,000 cases that come in from COVID that are added into today's numbers are actually from like the 22nd to the 28th or something of December. So even though the numbers are super high at the moment, hopefully everyone's like quarantining the shit out of themselves and there actually isn't that much contact or transmission at the moment. But anyway, the point is the lockdown is what it is, and the approach I'm taking mentally towards lockdown at the moment is just going to be like, get on with it. So it's kind of a case of, we're in a lockdown, just get on with it. There's nothing you can do, and it's always much better just to kind of focus on the things that you can do. Might make a cup of water. Anyway, yeah, so the lockdown. Best course of action is just taking a positive attitude, because like negative attitudes like spread like the virus itself. Spread, and positive attitudes can kind of like change negative attitudes and, you know, raise the energy in a room, that kind of thing, if that makes sense. So like momentum kind of gives momentum, but negativity kind of breeds negativity. I kind of read it somewhere during the week. I think it was in someone's Instagram, and yeah, that kind of stuck with me. So in terms of getting on with it, right, the best thing everyone can do if they're going to be working with us in our gym, it's so fucking cold, if they're going to be working with us in our gym, doing our lockdown program, routine is the number one, top of the list factor that can just help people stay positive and help pass the time quickly and get through the lockdown the easiest way possible. So there's no point in trying to rely on motivation and being like, oh, I'm not motivated to work out today or some shit like that, because if you're relying on motivation, it's a very unreliable source basically for, you know, kind of having that get up and go and actually doing something, because there'll be a lot of shitty days, or a couple of shitty days. It might not be a lot of shitty days, because I mean, being in lockdown isn't absolutely terrible. There are some benefits, but focusing on the negative side of things, I guess there's a lot of, yeah, you'll have bad days anyway, basically. That's the point. And you, on those bad days when you should be doing a workout and you just kind of skip it because you're feeling sad or whatever, you're really doing like double the damage or shooting yourself in the foot. You should, if you can, just try and get into the habit of forming a routine for the week. Like, it's Sunday night now, so in my head I already know what I'm going to do. I already know the days I'm going to work out. It'll be like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, day off Thursday, might do some running Thursday. I'm going to see how the weather is. I'll be working out again Friday, and Saturday I'll do something nice and easy, and a total rest day Sunday. So if you're listening to this, you should definitely get into the same mindset as well when it comes to routine. You can't beat it. And also, I'll be sticking to the exact same times as well every day for my workouts. Give myself some flexibility on the Thursday with that run, but other than that, even on the easy day that I might have on Saturday, going to come in at the gym at 12 o'clock every day, absolutely routinely. And it's a case of, I have my morning planned out. As soon as I get out of bed, it involves making like 2 cups of coffee, doing some work on the laptop, and when I've that kind of portion of my day done, it's time to get ready to go to the gym. So like, adding on to that, then like you can think about sleeping the night before. I mean, if you're going to get up out of bed, it'll allow, well, in my case, if I get up out of bed at whatever time it is, it gives me a few hours to get whatever I need to do done. And I know I'm going to be eating at home, having like, I don't have breakfast at the moment, but having coffee and whatever, and then going to the gym to work out. The reason I don't have breakfast is because I don't like working out with anything in my stomach at all, but coffee is actually fine. I have lattes. So it just kind of puts something in my stomach to get me going. But yeah, anyway, no breakfast for me. Back to what I was saying. So rolling back then to the night before, like I know what time I'm going to bed because I want to get at least a minimum of 8 hours, probably more at the moment because we have more time to be sleeping. Well, we don't have to get up early for, like, I don't have to get up early to do CrossFit classes and stuff like that. So we might as well take advantage of it and try and get more sleep. And that's going to help with recovery and stuff like that. And that, like, sleep is so important. It's so important in terms of, like, everything. It makes if you sleep more in the 24 hours that you have in the day, even though you're losing time sleeping, those hours that you are awake will actually be better and you'll function way better and you'll be more efficient with the time and you'll have more energy. And there's a book about sleep, a good podcast about sleep as well. And yeah, there's a whole host of benefits to getting a good night's sleep. So so where are we? Sleep. Yeah, so you can plan out like what time you're going to be going to bed at, form that routine because your body, your circadian rhythm, get that programmed. People kind of sleep a lot longer in the winter anyway because there's been studies that I won't quote, but I've read that in some parts of the world, thousands or maybe millions of years ago, that human beings actually hibernated, probably in the darker, colder parts of the world. But there could still be that little element in our DNA at the moment because I always feel like I'm going into hibernation myself when when winter's approaching. Winter is coming. But anyway, so yeah, back to routine again, super important. So trying to like decide when you're going to go to bed and you're not like kind of wasting your fucking time. Even people with families, I guess, would have a better routine. I don't have a family myself, so I'm not in that bracket. But if you're like a singleton or if you're in a relationship with your other half or better half, don't be tempted to kind of stay up really late and kind of watch movies, even though you might have some flexibility with work. You know, that if that's going to kind of wreck your night's sleep and means you're going to sleep out and then kind of have that knock-on effect throughout the day, just avoid that at all costs. Bed early. Or not early, but at the same time every night. Like if you go to bed late, if you go to bed at 2 o'clock, you get up at 10 o'clock. Excuse me. If you go to bed at 2 o'clock and get up at 10 o'clock, that's fine. You're getting 8 hours there. But, you know, don't be in the habit of going to bed at 12 o'clock every night, getting up at 8 every morning. And that's usually how your day runs, but you stay up in an extra 2 hours, then you get up at 8 again, same as usual, or maybe half 8, you sleep out a little bit, or 9, and then your day's kind of wrecked is a strong word, but thrown off. So routine is super important. So to summarize that shit I was just saying there, try and go to bed the same time every night, try and get up the same time every morning. Have a routine in the morning. There's a really good video about a Navy SEAL. I think it might be Jocko Willink. His name might be him. But basically, in the military, they get the soldiers into the habit of making their bed first thing every morning. And it was something that he carried with him as he lived his life. He's in his 40s, late 40s or 50s now. But basically, as soon as he gets up every morning, he makes his bed because he gets a tiny feeling of achievement, and it gets the ball rolling in terms of getting tasks done. So that is him forming his routine, and he's just like, right, up, out, make bed, into kitchen, kill people or whatever it is he does. But basically starts with making his bed. So routine is super important. So for me, getting up, getting coffee into me, getting work done on the laptop, whether it's programming or replying to emails or doing some social media shit, editing this video, and then at 12 o'clock, or stop what I'm doing at 11:30, get ready to go to the gym, be down to the gym for 12 o'clock. And even then I have my routine when I get into the gym, so I'm not like walking around the gym being like, oh Jesus Christ. As soon as I get in the door, I have my gentle warm-up routine, then my stretch routine, then things start to get a little bit more intense, and then I'm into my like proper exercise. So routine is the number one thing, guys, that we can all do during the lockdown. It is just building the habit, and when you have the habit formed, you don't need to think about it that much. You will not need to rely on your motivation. You will see progress in terms of like whatever it is you're trying to do. If you're following our program, you will see progress with that program, with your exercise. Even if you took up running, you'll see progress with running. If you just do not skip the runs and just run, whatever, get yourself out the door. Routine is the be all and end all in this situation. I'm a firm believer in that. And you should be ruthless with your routine as well. Like nothing should stop you. If you have got kids, you need to fucking get those kids in line and be like, it's mommy or daddy's time to do his or her exercise. You need to stay the fuck quiet, watch some TV or whatever the fuck it is. You can be with them for like 23 hours of the day after that. But just make some time to do this and build your routine that way. They have to respect parents' time as well. Boom. So anyway, with our lockdown program, I'm going to change the programming a little bit, and I'm going to come back to this again because I've gotten a picture up on my laptop, and it's to do with an email that was sent up to CrossFit, and it's also on CrossFit's Instagram, and it's a picture of basically the equipment that's needed for the games. So this program, all the space you're going to need is like 3 meters by 2 meters. And I'll tell you why in a second, but I'll tell you why in a minute. But basically, for your workout space, just like 3 meters by 2 meters, or if you have more space than that, brilliant. But I think that is the size of a small room, like, and if you could just clear out a bit of space in that room, you'll be able to do this program. Basically, 3 meters by 2 meters means like you could have a box in this and also do a burpee in front of the box, facing the box. And that's kind of how you know you'll have enough space. The next thing after that is, water's amazing. The next thing after that is you're going to need a clock. And like I've said this a few times before in the videos I'm making for people, but you're going to need a clock that has a really big display. So something like the Echo Timer on Android, and I don't know what the equivalent is on Mac, but like you could have a clock on your iPad or MacBook or laptop or Microsoft Surface or whatever it is. A nice big clock with a nice big display so you're not squinting at the screen. And that's why I just say the Echo Timer is good, because you can see that thing easily from like 20 feet away or more if you rotate your camera, and it's as close as you'll get to like the timer in a gym but on your phone. Very good, very clear, very simple, something like that. Download something like that. And also the last thing you're going to need is like a whiteboard or blackboard or a slate or a piece of paper. A board is better than a piece of paper. Like, boards are really, really expensive, and stationery shops are open at the moment as well. Past one day today in the Crescent, because the Crescent was open, went in for a walk, and they will smell the boards. They will sell small little boards like that in there. That's where I got a few for the gym, and you should definitely get one decent sized one, which is like maybe the size of an A4 piece of paper. A3 would be better. A3 piece of paper would be great because you can write up what you're doing on the board, and then like you've plenty of space to see what you're doing. And they're really, 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 really cheap. Like they're less than €10 or something like that. So yeah, besides the gear that you need to work out, space, a clock, and a board, and basically routine, and you'll be super prepared for the workouts that we're going to do for the lockdown. Yeah, okay. So back to the space, right? The reason all you're going to need, it's hard to get the words out sometimes. The reason all you're going to need is 3 meters by 2 meters of space, or something like that. Like 3 meters, not 3 meters, 3 meters squared. Well, that'll be 6 meters squared. 6 meters squared of space, or something like that, is because CrossFit put out a picture yesterday, and it's on their Instagram page, the CrossFit Games Instagram page, and reposted by Dave Castro, and it is basically a picture of two like stick figures, one just standing alone, and then the other one standing around, or actually doing a pull-up and surrounded by some other equipment. But basically the point they're trying to make is There's 2 ways you can do the CrossFit Open now. You can do one, well, actually you can do both from home, one with basic equipment and one is a completely equipment free option. So I'd say everyone knows this at this stage. This isn't fucking news. But anyway, just the point I'm trying to make is we're going to base the whole programming for the lockdown on this infographic. So they say, right, 2 options, 2 ways to do the open. So one is just obviously going to be body weight and that's it. Absolutely nothing else, just your body. But the other way then is like you need 5 pieces of equipment, right? A dumbbell, a barbell with plates, a plyo box for jumping on, a jump rope or a skipping rope, a skipping rope, and then a pull-up location. And this is obviously for people to work out at home at garage gyms. Everyone has been buying a shitload of equipment as well. Equipment is like kind of gold dust almost, but very hard to get anyway, and not as freely available as it was. So obviously there's loads of kind of home gym situations sprouting up, but I'd say at the same time I wouldn't call it full-on home gym, and I'd say CrossFit are aware of that as well because it just has basic equipment and it is the stuff that a lot of people would have or could maybe get their hands on. The barbell and plates is the big one, and then a dumbbell. Dumbbells are really hard to get. And a box, you can make a box out of anything. Anyone can get a skipping rope, and it's still easy enough to get a pull-up station or that pull-up bar with a bracket that sticks to the wall. So, okay, yes. So basically the point I'm trying to make is that we're going to base our whole programming for the next month, or if it feeds into fucking next month as well, next month or 2 months will be based all around these bits of equipment to get us as ready as possible for the open. And now obviously I've given out equipment to my members, and I haven't given them a barbell, and I'm not going to give them a barbell either. So they'll be without this. But we've done loads of barbell work when they came back to the gym, and we will get back to the gym before the open. Even if this does run on to 2 months, we'll still have a little bit of time because it's March the 11th. We might have like 2 weeks or something like that. But let's just say it's for the lockdown's for a month anyway. We'll still have another 5 weeks of barbell work to get us back into the swing of having a barbell in our hands again, getting used to the movement and all that kind of stuff. And by the time the open comes around, but we've done loads of that stuff in the past, so it's not a big deal. But yeah, so just to talk about the program a little bit more, then it's safe to say that like I'm not going to put in any running and stuff like that like I have in the past into the WODs. So the workouts are going to be like focused on kind of unilateral kind of structural balance, strength, that kind of thing. We're going to be working with a dumbbell or a kettlebell if people have it, even though it's interesting that the kettlebell isn't popped up there, but a dumbbell if people have it. And that's the only piece of equipment you're going to need. And it's ideal if people have like dumbbell of varying weights if they have their own gear at home. But if you just have the one piece of equipment, the one dumbbell at the one weight, it's still going to work absolutely perfectly. Because as we gain strength, we can start introducing stuff like tempo. Well, first step is as we gain strength, we can increase the reps. Then when we get to a certain point with the reps, we drop the reps down again and introduce a tempo. So more time under tension is the other way we're going to build strength in the lockdown with like the dumbbell. And then the WODs will all be based around like that equipment minus the bar and plates. And that's how we're going to work it. So I'm wondering as well with the open, is there going to be like the 2 versions of the open? Is there going to be like a direct translation from body weight to like the equipment version? So for example, let's say you got one option is like the direct translation. So one is, let's just say there is dumbbell lunges. Dumbbell lunges is one of the movements in the WOD. You have to take like 10 steps on the spot, so 5 each leg or something, or 10 reps I should say, or it could be like a 10-meter walk. Even though they mightn't have, if it's a home option, they mightn't actually have people walking a distance because people won't have much space in their garage. So it's probably not going to be like walking. It's probably not going to be like walking like it was in the past. Like in the past, I wouldn't walk what, 20 feet, 25 feet? Yeah, a 50-foot walk, 25 foot in each direction. I think that's what workouts typically were in the past with like dumbbell lunges a couple of years ago, or barbell lunges a few years before that, and even handstand walks as well. So I think that's gone. Interesting, that just occurred. I think that's gone. But anyway, let's just say it's like you've one workout that has 10 dumbbell lunges, but it's like 10 reps, 5 each side on the spot. Does that mean that the equipment-free version is probably going to be something like 20 lunges, but it's with your body weight on the spot? Or would it be something like the body weight versions, the equipment-free versions are going to be entirely different? So what I mean is like, it'll probably be like still your lower body getting worked out. So it'll be something like you'll have dumbbell box step-ups in the equipment version, but then they're just going to let off the dumbbell box step-ups and just replace it with something like lunges. Or pistols. Probably something, lunges or pistols or something like that for the equipment-free version. It's interesting. Like, again, you could... I think the basic equipment version as well will surely include handstand push-ups, because I know you can have freestanding pull-up stations, but everyone has a fucking wall that they can just, like, hop up against and do some handstand push-ups. So I think it would be a terrible idea to assume that no handstand push-ups are coming into the open. Really hope they don't give us something shitty like a fucking freestanding handstanding hold that no one is practicing except for the games athletes, and somehow they managed to do an amazing job at. But yeah, surely handstand push-ups are going to be there, because everyone's got a wall they can do handstand push-ups up against. And then if they put in handstand push-ups, you have the equipment-free version, which you do in the middle of a fucking field. They could probably swap that out for like hand release push-ups or something. So that'd be kind of how I imagine that would happen. Yeah. So I imagine, I could be well wrong, but I imagine they'd have a workout and then have some kind of similar workout but equipment free. You know, that would be the way that makes the most sense to me anyway. But like, they could do it the other way as well. They could have like one workout with equipment, one entirely different workout with your body weight. And yeah, they might do that to make the body weight workouts more challenging. They might have like outrageous reps, 50 burpees to start off with, and then 50 of fucking whatever else they can do. What else can you do, like, with just your body weight? Pistols, push-ups, sit-ups, freestanding handstand push-ups. No. Air squats, backflips. Who knows? I don't know. That's going to be tough. And then also they'll have like scaling on top of that. Will they have scaling on top of that? They probably will have scaling on top of that. Scaling will be easy with the equipment, but with the equipment-free version, it'll really be basic. Pistols will probably swapped out for something like air squats, or they might have like a scaled pistol or something like that brought in. Interesting. So yeah, that's basically what the program for the next month is going to be based around. So not much space needed, and make sure you have a good skipping rope. Everyone should have their own skipping rope. And if you do have your own skipping rope, do not use it on the concrete or tarmac. Try and get like a mat or piece of timber or something, or have a spare cable if you are going to use it on the concrete. But even then I wouldn't use it on the concrete, because the cable won't last. Cable will only last a couple of days if you do some decent sets of double unders. The cheapest solution is to get a doormat. Get a big doormat at like anywhere for a tenner at Lidl or Aldi, or somewhere, some hardware store. They're very cheap. Get a big doormat that's as big as you possibly can have, and then just leave that outside and skip on that or something anyway, just to protect the cable of the rope, because you want to get used to your skipping rope as well and get the feel of it, and like get the cable the right length, and then have no kinks in the cable, and just have that piece of equipment, like when you pick it up it just forms part of your body, and you can just like skip away and not think about like the difficulty you're having with the cable or the rope or the cable spring or any shit like that. Going on a tangent here. And then I think people should really try and build a box or stack. So they don't have to build a box, actually. What am I saying? You don't have to, like, you can stack something. You can stack, like, could you stack books? You probably could stack books. No one has that many books in their house anymore, though, realistically. Get the school books off the kids. Do kids even have school books anymore? But yeah, get a step somewhere, like basically a stool or like a small wall is ideal. If you've got like a wall at home that's ideal, knee height, ideal height, that's knee height, it's ideal. Or like, again, yeah, like it's just so easy to make a box. It doesn't have to be a perfect box either, just like an elevated flat surface off the ground. If you've got a few blocks or something like that, you can throw them somewhere and step on them. But I would really think about doing that if people are going to be stuck at home. Get your husbands or wives to like carve something out and just drill it together. A few screws, grand job. Or if you can stack something, like I said, that'll be grand as well. And yeah, pull-up station. The pull-ups is going to be the one thing that we won't be able to work on too much if people don't have pull-ups. What we can do is inverted rows on the table and the door rows that I put out there, and how we're going to build up strength is what we're lacking in a pull-up bar, we're going to make up for it in like loads of bent over rows and bicep curls and stuff like RDLs and that kind of thing to work our posterior chain, which doesn't really contribute as much as the other two to pull up, but it still helps a little bit. So we'll still try and keep these muscles working the same way over the lockdown. And that's pretty much the story. Have I got anything else to say? No. So in the WODs as well, no, and off I start. Anyway, in the WODs as well, we're not going to have any running like we did in the WODs in previous lockdowns. For example, 200 meter run and come in and do like 10 dumbbell snatches and 10 burpees and 5 rounds of that. So we won't have that kind of thing this time around, right? And there's a few reasons for that. It's fucking Baltic outside at the moment. That's the first reason. And I know it'll get warmer, but fuck, it's cold. Really cold at the moment. And the second reason is I want to cater for this open format, which means keeping everything in the same space. And that's the main reason. But also, reason 2.5 kind of, I'll have running on its own separate thing. So like, I'm fully aware that people don't want to be like doing the workouts outside so they can run, or like running out into the cold and then back into their nice warm house and continuing on the workout, which is how you get a cold. And then it's better if we just have the running on its own. So you just suit up for the running, put on your running shoes, wrap up, and then go for your run, whether it's like interval runs or just like a long run, whatever it's going to be in the day. Just doing that way is just a better way to do it, and that way the running's not totally neglected either, and we're still keeping our anaerobic base relatively high, kind of good. You know, our endurance isn't falling to shit if we can do like a little bit of running that way. So yeah, the program's going to start off nice and easy for the first week, and we'll build on it the second week, and on from there it'll become kind of more normal, more CrossFit-y. But for the first week, I want to make it like, I want people to look at their phone, see the workout and be like, yeah, that's grand, I'll do that in like half an hour, bang that out, no problem. Instead of this fucking nightmarish fucking thing staring at you in the face. It's important we make the workouts kind of easy, very accessible, a little bit interesting with kind of new funky-ish movements that have some kind of function and are in some way relevant and not just some fucking random shit. So we can get people actually kind of sucked in to the routine, to doing the workouts, and then off we go from there. We can kind of bring in the shitty things like we did last time, which was like 5 minutes of devil press or something. Ooh, can't remember. We'll never do that again. Anyway, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, everyone's going to be like Googling bodyweight WODs just to see what kind of possibilities will come up for the equipment fee version of the CrossFit Open, which is going to be 3 open workouts. And the reason I'm using the Open as well, by the way, I totally forgot to mention this, was because I'm using the Open as the basis for the programming, or not the Open, this hint at the Open as the basis for the programming, because I think it's really important to have a focal point or a goal, something to aim towards, you know. So it makes it much harder to kind of just start exercising for the sake of exercising in a situation like this where you're on your own and you're not coming in like shooting the shit with people, grabbing a coffee at the gym, talking, all that kind of good stuff. The social interaction side is totally absent at the moment. So if you have kind of a goal in mind where I'm going to get fit for the 11th of March for the Open, it just makes it easier to focus. So you've like 9 weeks roughly 8 weeks, 9 weeks, and you want to be kind of in good shape. It's like getting ready for a marathon or doing a 10K. It's like, okay, couch to 5K or something like that, It's like we're doing a workout here right now, or if it was running we were talking about it, it's like we're going to do a small run today now, and I'll do another run in the middle of the week and another run at the weekend. I'm going to start off like that, and I'm going to build towards doing a 5K for the Limerick City Marathon or something like that, or whatever event used to happen. It's the same idea here. We have like an event that's online, that's taking place on the 11th of March, and we can build towards that, and we have a good hint of what it might entail, and we're just going to try and play around with that for the moment and get people strong and get people used to that kind of situation. And yeah, 8 weeks is perfect to get ready for something like that. So that's why it's all about the open at the moment, in my mind. Yep. Cool, and that's pretty much it. Let's see what happens with this podcast, if it is a podcast. Let's try and do this like at least once a week anyway. And yeah, so that's pretty much the story, guys. We'll be seeing each other again soon, hopefully, and we'll be logging scores for the open or for the at-home mods on Beyond the Whiteboard and all that good shit. And that's pretty much it. Peace.